Steph here with Chinese Garden. Actually, it's afternoon. We are going to get my spring containers planted today, and I'm very excited. These beautiful flowers here are going to go into them, as well as some ivy. I have two gorgeous tall blue ceramic containers, kind of bluish purple, that I found on, I think, Facebook Marketplace for $40. So two for $40. Great price. So I want to get those planted and get spring sprung here. Okay, so to show you what's going out, we're by the garage door. These tired winter planters are gonna go, and these beautiful planters are coming in. I'm actually going to keep these because I can use these in next year's winter planters. Might as well be thrifty. Okay, so we are going to come down to our mulch leaf pile to use some of our mulch leaves in the bottom of the container to save on potting soil. So I'm going for the layer that's nice and fluffy, less wet and bared down. I don't want it to be too heavy at the bottom because I still want water to be able to drain. But we can use a lot of these because we have so many leaves, and then we're not spending all the potting soil all the way down to the bottom, which is expensive. So this is a good trick. So I went ahead and filled them up probably half to 3/4 of the way, not quite 3/4, but you can see how much space that saves down in here for potting soil. Yet it's still fluffy enough that water should be able to drain. Now I'm going to take a container mix, or you could use potting mix. This is specific for containers. So I'll open this and fill up the rest of the way in the container. This container is filled up about halfway, and I used the whole 1 cubic foot of bag, which is why I wanted to fill at least halfway up with those leaves, because I would have had to use 2 for 1 container. So we save some money that way. All good, let's do the other one. All right, that one's good as well, and I just have a tiny bit left over in the bag. So about 1 bag for each. So before I plant these, I'm just gonna do a quick overview of all my plants, double check some of the leaves and any foliage that needs to be clipped off, just to make sure we're giving it a nice healthy start in the container. Okay, it's time to plant. Let's get these in the container. I am going to go with a pansy matrix denim and also a pansy spring matrix blue. I think the colors together really play off of each other well. And then in my center, I'm gonna have this beautiful larger yellow pansy. I actually don't have a tag, so I don't know what the variety is, but it's nice and bright, bold, and beautiful. And then I will go in with Algerian ivy or an English ivy. I was considering doing both, but I think I'm going to do one or the other. We'll see how it looks and how much room I have. This one's just a little different. It is called English Ivy Glacier. And this doesn't have the tag, but I've used this before, and I'm 99% sure this is Algerian ivy. So I think that'll all play off of each other really nicely. And then I do have some wood willow pieces that I think I'm gonna stick in there as well. What I'm gonna add first is some Biotone starter fertilizer, just to give all of these a really good start. Start by mixing the fertilizer in with the soil, and then keeping each plant in its container. I finalized the design and style of the container for a final look. It looks like the soil's settling a little bit, so I'm gonna come in and add some more because I don't want my flowers to sink down. One, because they won't get as much sun that way toward the roots, and two, because I want them to be able to be viewable to everyone. So I'm gonna top this off a bit more. I add a little more potting mix, and now that I know what design and plants I want to include in the container, I get to planting. The last step is to add some willow branches for some height, texture, and a touch of spring. Lastly, I trim up the willow branches, taking off any dead ends to give the container a nice and polished, complete look. Okay, we have finished planting. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I think it really brings this garage area into spring. And my favorite view of the spring container, the puppy, and the tulips that flank the driveway with the serviceberry tree up above. So beautiful. Really just kicks spring off on the right foot, doesn't it? So let's get this all blown and swept up so we can see the final look. So we are officially done. Everything is swept up. It looks nice and tidy. I'm really happy with how they turned out. I love the juxtaposition of the colors, and this Algerian ivy should really fill in nicely trailing down. When this trails down, you'll be able to see it from the road, which I think will be a really pretty feature. And we're actually redoing the outside of our house. So this wood will even juxtapose better against a different color than the brown we currently have. But I hope you're enjoying it. Good luck with your containers. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you're using for your spring containers, and we'll see you soon.